Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Wednesday. You've made it halfway through this week. Hope you guys are having an amazing week. Hope you guys are being productive and just getting out there and seeing people and making hopes and dreams come true. This morning, I have someone that we've been wanting to interview for a long time. So I would encourage you, take some notes this morning. This is a gentleman that one of the gentlemen that I consider to be one of my closest friends on the planet. I'm not going to ask him how he feels about that, but no, he says no, not at all. Yeah, he mispronounced my name.
Isn't there a difference right now?
Okay.
Did you need it?
No, I don't need it. Okay. Yeah. So, but what we'll do is, Rob Sevilla is a gentleman that for a long time has been a great friend of mine, a mentor of mine. I consider him a mentor, and a gentleman that has had to start over. His story is an impressive one. His story is one that he didn't plan on it going this way, but he has made the most of it and is a leader in the Medicare industry. And the reason I wanted to talk to Rob today is because a lot of people, the hardest part of sales is getting in front of people, right? The hardest part of sales is getting in front of people. I can teach a squirrel to sell Medicare, right? It's not selling, it's just presenting options, presenting facts, and letting them pick what they want to do. So if we can get in front of enough people, we can make enough sales. Rob has come up with a great way to get in front of people that is not costing him any money. So Rob, welcome. Thank you very much for coming on. And I appreciate you taking the time to visit with us.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you for the kind words. I obviously was joking, considered you to be a close friend as well. Love your heart, love your spirit. And thank you for everything that you do for us agents. We appreciate
Absolutely.
you very much for that. And so short version for me is I had been selling Medicare in a very high productive environment. Probably did close to 3,000 applications in about two and a half years, maybe a little bit more. So somewhere between 2,800 to 3,200 applications. So to say we were selling Medicare at a high level is an understatement, but we were. And at the beginning of the year, my wife and I had to start over. Wasn't something we had planned. Doesn't make them bad, us better, or anything like that. We don't live our life that way. It just basically adversity. If I can say it to you this way, maybe this is a word for someone today. Adversity forced me to take an audit of the dream that I had for my life. It had forced me to acknowledge, was my dream for sale? Right? It forced me to admit, do I really want this bad enough or not? So the good news is I knew how to sell Medicare at a high level. And so I said, what's the fastest way I can get back to duplicate the income? Because I lost all of my income, which was a multi-six-figure income. So when I say adversity, I'm not talking about like a little rainy day. I'm talking about tornado, hurricane, everything coming all at one time, okay? But that's what adversity does. It makes you take an honest audit of why are you doing this, right? Do you really going to practice what you preach? And so that's really where I found myself in January 1st of this year. Fast forward, I already knew that the fastest way for me to get back, in my opinion, was to do LIS, DSNP, MAPDs. And I had a great relationship with a lot of the carrier reps. So they reached out to me, I reached out to them. And for whatever reason, no one in our area was doing food pantries. And so I said, well, sign me up. I'll do as many as possible. And so we started going to these food pantries, 200 to 400 people getting fed, like cars just coming through. And we were averaging probably about 25 to 40 leads per food pantry, closing about 50% of those. And when I say closing, that could either be a plan swap, because I don't know if you have found this out, but a lot of people in that market are on the wrong plans because somebody didn't know what they were doing, or somebody was just trying to make a stinking commission and they're on the wrong plans. And so we went into the mode of really helping them. Really, so when I say closing, you know, we're averaging about 50 to 60% closing ratio. And that's because we can't get hold of, you know, half the other ones, or their phone numbers are disconnected or whatever. Anyways, I'm preaching to the choir. A lot of you know that market already, but we're doing really well. The other thing is, I'll just make a mention, is we're not just closing DSNPs and MAPDs. I've closed MedSups off of them, rewritten some MedSups. I've also closed a lot of ACA business off of it. Okay. So that all factors into that.
Let me ask you this. You're
Sure.
throwing a lot of acronyms out, and a lot of folks in here, a lot of new folks into the Medicare world. Explain what you mean by LIS D-SNPs.
Sure. Yeah, I forgive me for speaking too much Medicare knees here, so we'll translate it for you. But basically, the LIS and D-SNP market, a lot of the MAPDs in Mississippi, at least from where I live, a lot of them are low income, right? So they're very low income, and so they can't afford to go the traditional route of a Medicare supplement. Where I live, it's 90% MedSup, 10% Medicare Advantage or D-SNP. We're a very heavy MedSup culture, Medicare supplement culture, where I live in North Mississippi. We only have really 3 Medicare Advantage plans, and only 2 of them really work here. So it's not as robust in our area. But what I have found is that a lot of people just don't know what they have. And I say this not to throw a name out there, but just to give some context. So 10 years ago, Humana was the biggest Medicare Advantage here in our area, but they lost their contract with the biggest hospital and its affiliates. So a lot of people are still stuck on that, and they're being sold that when they really don't work with a lot of the providers. So it opens up a huge opportunity for us to present Aetna, which is probably the number 1 here because it works with all the hospitals, and then United Healthcare, which is our second. So that low income subsidy market, or that D-SNP market here, is just lower income people that either have Medicare and have LIS, which means they're getting help with their prescription drugs as well. Some of them have that low level Medicaid, where they're just getting the 170/10 back, which, side note, and I know I'm kind of dancing around here a little bit, and I'll get to the meat and taters, as they say here in Mississippi, right? I'll get to that in just a second. But side note is, if you're not applying for extra help for your clients, you're missing out. I close probably 4 to 5 sales a month, Medicare beneficiaries, just going the extra mile to apply for extra help. If you don't know how to do that, I can post the link in the chat. Literally takes 10 minutes. So let me tell you why I do that. Let's say I sit down with somebody, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, et cetera, et cetera. By the way, why are you not getting extra help for your medications, which means their generics and their high tier drugs are getting capped? Why aren't you getting that? Especially if they're only making, like I had a lady the other day who's only making, bringing home $900 a month. And I'm like, no one's ever applied for extra help for you or anything like that? She said, no. Well, we applied for her. Several weeks went by, and she got approved for obviously extra help, but also for Medicaid. So she was tickled to death, and she was allowed to go on a dual eligible program, which was helping her out because she didn't know, and she was paying out of pocket just with her Medicare and her drug plan completely.
So now we did to kind of give a shameless plug to the Friday Medicare 101s. The last one we did was on Medicare extra help, savings programs, all that. So go back and watch that. That's in our Secure IG training course. So when you sit down with somebody, and I do want to get back to the food currencies, but when you do sit down with someone, how are you asking? How do you know if they will qualify? Are you asking right off the bat, hey, what's your monthly income? How are you approaching that?
Sure. So I do a lot of phone calling because in the food pantry leads, I do a lot of phone calling. And so one of the things I always like to ask them is, what do you have to go along with your Medicare? And then I'll ask them, hey, I said, I feel like it's my job to help you qualify for all the benefits that you deserve. See how I stated that? Mm-hmm. I feel it's my job as a Medicare advisor to be the best Medicare advisor I can be for you, help you get all the benefits you deserve. I've never had anybody cuss me out because I want to help them get all the benefits they deserve. As a matter of fact, it gets the defenses down, and all of a sudden they're an open book. And I said, but in order for me to do that, I need to ask you several questions. Number one, and I make a joke about it. Mr. and Miss Jones, I ain't trying to get in your Kool-Aid in your business. But do you mind me asking how much gross income for the household do you bring in, right? And they'll tell me. And so I just kind of go down that path. And here's the deal. I just want to be very clear. I'm not an LIS expert. I'm not a Medicaid expert. I just don't let the details stop me, right? Because my ultimate goal is to impact and help those people. I'll find that out. If I don't know something, there's way more people on this call probably that know way more about Medicaid and LIS than I do. I don't want to know every detail. I just want to help the people get all the benefits they deserve. Okay. So don't let that paralyze you, and don't let that stop you. I started doing extra help applications not knowing jack. And I have been, helping a lot of people, with that. So I just kind of ask questions about that, but it lowers the defenses if you say, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, I just feel it's my job to be a good Medicare advisor to you here, to help you get all the benefits that you deserve. But in order for me to do that, I need to ask you a few questions. So I'm going to ask them about income, going to ask them about their plan. Sometimes I'll ask them like, what are you paying, for your prescription drugs right now? That kind of gives me some things to work off of, because I know if they're paying a lot of money for something, I know they don't have any extra help. Okay. And if you don't know this already, and there again, Dallas, tell me if I'm going too basic here. Okay. But if you don't know this, the Humana eligibility, portal in the back office, the Humana eligibility portal, where you can check people's LIS status or DSNP status. United Healthcare has one as well, where you can check their Medicare, Medicaid status. Think Agent with Aetna has it. I use all of those tools because here's the thing. If someone gives me a social, their date of birth, and I know the state and their first and last name, I can go into Humana, and Humana will give me their Medicare number, their Medicaid number, their LIS levels. So I don't have to ask all those questions. If you learn how to handle that conversation in the beginning, and I'll usually say it this way. So people go, well, I just have a hard time getting socials. Here's what I say, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, listen, in order for me to verify your identity and see what level of Medicaid you have to qualify for all those extra benefits that I want to help you get, I just need your social. And then I stop. I don't talk anymore. You're right. I say it with confidence. In order for me to help you get all the benefits that you deserve, I need to ask this.
Yeah.
Right.
You make yourself, you're the expert. Yeah.
Yeah. I say it this way. I preach this to the people I train. People go in the direction that you lead them.
Yeah.
But you got to be confident in that direction. So I ask them. Okay. So all of that to say this, if you're not applying for extra help, ask them for extra, ask them some questions there. Once again, maybe we need to do another whole webinar on that or get somebody better than me on that. But you need to be applying for extra help, right? You need to be applying for extra help, because here's the deal. What if the difference between you taking 10 extra minutes with them gets them $6,000 more in benefits? How much of an impact do you think you would make in someone's life if they get a grocery card, if they get $5,000 in dental? We have our clients, and this is not to be braggadocious. My wife will tell you, we go to these food pantries now and they tell us they love us, right? And that makes us almost tear up, right? I'm a crier. I'm going to admit it. I'm going to raise my hand. I'm a crier. Okay. I'm a crier, but it makes us feel good that, man, that we helped them get groceries. I had one lady, her whole mouth needed to be pulled, but she didn't have the money. She had infected teeth. And we were able to get her $5,000 in dental just because we took an extra 10 minutes. So when we meet these people at the food pantry, here's the short version, and we'll see if we have any questions. So what we did is we reached out to the carriers. The carriers told us, hey, we got these food pantries. You interested? Yes. The carriers provide all the products. They go to Dollar Tree, Dollar General, Dollar whatever. Well, it's now $1.25, I think, is an inflation. But anyhow, that's beside the point. That's a discussion for another day. Okay. But they give us these little products. They drop off these boxes of products. We have a table at the end of the food pantry, because most of them now, they have to stay in the car.
Mhm.
So we have one that we go to. They line them up on the other side of the school. We have a table, like one of those Sam's Club tables or Costco's table, just set up with whatever company is supporting us. So in this case, we do a lot with Aetna. Okay. So we have an Aetna tablecloth. We have about 300 items of these, and we're just going to go until we run out. And we get the cars on the way out. We have clipboards on the back with this on it. So let me give you an example. As they're coming through, I'm flagging them down with a big smile. Don't look like a serial killer and you just rolled out of bed, right? Because they're not going to stop. Okay. And I go, hey, how you doing today? Yeah, we're just out here today, just checking on people's Medicare and Medicaid. See how the visual helps? Medicare and Medicaid. Okay. I actually do it this way. I'm just checking to see if you have Medicare or Medicare and Medicaid, just to make sure that you're getting all the benefits that you deserve.
That's what Joe Namath says on TV, baby.
Right. Okay. And so it stops them in the tracks. Sometimes I'll go, hey, hey there, how you doing? My name is Rob, and we're here with Aetna today, and we're just checking with people with Medicare and Medicaid. And sometimes I'll lead with the grocery benefit. I'm just here to make sure that everybody's getting their extra grocery benefit. Guess what it does? It stops them in their tracks. Or I may lead with, hey, I'm just making sure that everybody's getting their extra dental benefit because you know that you could qualify for up to $5,000 in dental. I just say it real fast, right? Okay. And they go, oh, I'm not getting that. Well, then Aetna also gives me the permission to contact form or whoever you're representing. They give it to me. They give me the product. They give me the tablecloth. They give me the permission to contact form. I just get name and number. Okay. And I get them to sign. That's it. Mr. and Mrs. Jones, well, I would love to check on that for you. Okay. Make sure I got your name correctly here. What's the best phone number for you? Okay. Well, I just need you to sign here real quickly to give me permission to reach out to you.
Wow.
Should never take you more than 3 to 5 minutes max. Because remember, you got all these cars coming through. So I take 3 agents with me, myself, my wife, and then one of our newer agents. And usually 3 agents can handle about 300 to 400 cars just coming through. Okay. We're just coming through. Now you're going to have some people that are going to ask you extra questions, those where you need to pull them to the side, but make it very clear that I can't get into an in-depth presentation, right? That I can just give you some 30,000 foot view highlights and get this signed. And then what I do is I go back to the office on Monday because I do a lot of them on Saturday and I tackle all of these. Why do I do that? Because these are the hottest clients right now. Okay. Everything else gets put on hold because I tell them I'm going to be calling you on Monday. Okay, I'm going to be reaching out to you on Monday. And so the first thing I'm going to do is make sure that I can get a scope. If I can do a scope over the phone, I'm not going to get into that because I know you guys will get into that on Medicare 101, but it's literally taking 2 hours of your time. They provide everything for you. You just got to show up with a smile, a hand wave, and representing whatever company you come. I mean, I'm like, you can't see it, but I literally probably have 500 of these slips over here to my left, and we still follow up with them. And if we do 2 food pantries a month and average about 25 leads, 50 leads, we're generally making anywhere from 15 to 25 sales a month just for investing 4 hours of our time.
Yeah. So
I don't want to say free because it's not free. You got to invest your time.
right.
Right.
Now,
And if you're not willing to put skin in the game, then you're not going to be successful in this industry. Right.
Absolutely. I want to go back, but I want to tackle a couple things. I've written down a couple.
Okay.
things.
Let me make
Number
something
one,
real clear here. Once we go past the 9:30 mark, it's $1,000 an hour. So just want,
absolutely.
okay,
Yeah.
just
And, I've got a
PayPal,
running
Rob
tab
Sevilla
problem.
at, no, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
I have a running tab. It is
Yeah, I'm just kidding.
monstrous. When you talk about getting your rep, the most important thing is getting that relationship with that representative, correct? So
Mhm.
talk about there, like, how do you find your rep? I mean, how do you
Sure.
know who your rep is with different things? Reps make money off of you guys. When you write business, they make more money.
Sure. Well, so here's what I did. I was very fortunate because I was a top producer, with my previous organization. I already had relationships with them. So they knew me. So they were just as willing to reach out to me as I was to them. So we could continue that marriage and be successful together. But if you do not know who your rep is, then either I would reach out to your upline, whoever that is, right? Or Dallas, or I would reach out to the company itself, and they'll give you a whole list. A lot of times, if you go in the back office, there is regional and state contacts that you can contact. So you got to do a little digging sometimes. But what we correspond with the most is our event coordinators. So I have great relationships with the agents, but they call them event coordinators that are looking to set up these grassroots marketing events. Now, I say this very gracefully because I don't want to hate or throw shade. I personally have never had success with the grocery store stuff or, standing in front of most success that I've had has been food pantries. I'm not saying that other stuff doesn't work. It just didn't work for us. Okay. So they're looking for agents to go do these food pantries. Why do you think that is? Because most people don't want to get up on a Saturday morning to go do it.
Yeah.
See, we say we're hangry, right? We say we're hangry, right? But a lot of people really aren't. And this will set you apart from the other agents. And once you do one food pantry, guess who they're going to call when another one opens up? We get calls every month. Hey, we got another one open. Can you do it? I'm sorry. We're doing one next month with 600 cars coming through.
Yeah.
The last time we did it, we got 70 leads out of it. We were there for 3 hours, but we got 70 leads.
Our rep from Aetna was in here yesterday telling me, I said, because she used to work for us and she went to Aetna and worked as an event coordinator. And I said, what's the hardest part of your job? She said, finding agents that'll do the stuff that we need to do. I said, really? I figured you'd be turning agents away. She said, no, I'm out of your calling agents. Please, would you come out and do this event?
Yeah. And if you make it fun and if you have a good time and if you love what you're doing, I mean, I love people, man. So I'm like, hey, let's have some fun with it. We make jokes and, we're waving and just having a good time. But we've helped so many people that way. So you want to get in contact with your carrier rep or your event coordinator. Ask them if there's any food pantries that no one's working in your area. If not, you may have to be proactive and be that forerunner in your region and go find all the food pantries in your area. Like where I live, there's probably about 20 of them within 60 miles. We work 4 to 5 of them consistently every month, right? Even with the success we've had, we're still working them. Why? Because I want to lead by example and show other reps that are coming in, hey, the fastest way for you to get to where you need to be is to do this. Okay. But guess what? Now we have other carrier reps. So they all talk to each other. I'm telling you, they all do. So we have other event coordinators from other companies. One of them wanted us to go do a football game at Mississippi State, which is about 50 miles south of where I live. And they were going to pay for a tailgating party and for us just to show up and go do that. Unfortunately, we weren't able to make that. Another one wanted us to drive 3 hours south to a state fair. They're averaging 70 to 100 leads from these events. They're looking for people to do these events. So food pantries, I can guarantee you this, if you at least just implement one every month, if you'll just put the skin in the game for one and get good at it, I promise you it'll take your business to another whole level.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, there's no way I would be talking to you right now, starting over from scratch. Right. I'm talking about scratch. I mean, I had savings, but I'm talking about multiple 6-figure income gone, starting over, getting out there, doing the grunt work. And it's been a huge blessing these past 6 to 7 months doing food pantries. So even if you have no budget, I feel your pain. Okay. Go do food pantries. And I promise you, it will change your business.
So let me ask you this. Let me give you an objection that I hear all the time. I don't want to work LIS, DSNP leads and all that because they're too needy, and DSNP people can change 4 times a year.
Yeah. Here's what I do. Okay. There again, I'm not the expert. You talk to Dallas and all those guys that get paid the big bucks. I'm just a guy here in Mississippi. Okay. Here's what I do with that. I get it. I felt the same way when I first started doing it, but I can tell you this with absolute certainty that I've only lost since March, averaging 15 to probably 25 sales a month from the food pantries. I've only lost about 5 to 10% max. Okay. One of them we actually got back because someone conned them on the phone and told them to switch to a plan that didn't even work in their area. She was so sorry, but let me tell you what I do. We make an effort to call them about a month after we sign them up, and we tell them that on the phone. Hey, I'm going to call you in about a month just to make sure you got your cards in, go over everything with you. I know a lot of agents don't like to do that, but once again, it's your dream for sale. How bad do you want it? Okay. And you can outsource that to someone too. Find someone to outsource that, a friend, a relative, a VA, somebody to outsource that to. But what I also do is whenever I sign someone up, I type out a little letter that says, "Dear Mr. Jones," with our logo. It has my wife's and I, that real good picture, the one that makes you look like models, right? That good picture at the bottom. And it says, "Dear Mr. and Mrs. Jones, thank you so much for taking time with me today. As promised, I wanted to send you an overview of what we discussed. Why do you think I want to do that? Because they're getting 150 billion phone calls a day. So I want them to remember me. I put my cards in there, a little paragraph letter. I highlight all the good stuff, 5,000 in dental, whatever it is. I send them my card. And then even then I put in big letters with yellow. It's probably offensive, but I don't care at this point, right? It just says, oh, by the way, don't let anyone change your plan. I mean, I yellow highlight everything because, listen, it could mess up all the benefits that we applied for you today. Nobody wants their benefits messed up. Okay, I put it in big yellow letters. So I send that out immediately. I don't put it off because I don't know if anyone's like me. I won't do it if I put it off, right? So I do it immediately, drop it in the mail with my 2 business cards. I can't tell you how that has worked for us, for people to see us again. And then in a month, you may want to do 2 weeks. I just normally do a month. We call and follow back up with them. Hey, just checking on you, Mr. and Mrs. Jones. And we have found that when we do those 2 touches like that, one, with the letter reinforcing what we said on the phone with our business cards. I do this as well with some of my clients, about 50% of them. I'll even text them my business cards while I'm on the phone with them and go, hey, Mr. Jones, I just want to let you know you're not dealing with some weirdo over here, right? I'm a real person and I want you to have all of my information. And they call us. Are they needy? Yes. Okay, they are. But once again, do you love what you do? And do you love the people enough to cover that? Right? You understand what I'm saying? Like it's just part of it. But I promise you this, and I pray this doesn't sound offensive when I say this, but I don't know how to say it any other way. I don't mind dealing with needy people if I'm impacting their life in such a way that's providing my family the income that people dream of.
All right.
You see what I'm
Let's,
saying? I'll deal with needy people all day long.
yeah, I love it. I love it, man. So let me ask you this. We've got a couple of questions here. Do you text a picture of a business card?
Yeah. So what I do is real quickly, like my wife and I, we have 2 business cards like this. So I'll lay this on my desk and I'll even stop in the middle of the presentation, right? See how beautiful those people are? Look at it.
I was going to say, I would just send the bottom one.
Yeah. Sometimes I have to do that. All right. But I lay it on my desk and I go, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, real quickly, I'm just going to send you a picture. That way you're dealing with somebody, that's legit and whatever. And you're more than welcome to go on our website. Side note, if you're not getting business Google reviews for your website, you're missing out. Right. So I go tell them, hey, go check out the over 40 5-star Google reviews we have for our website. And I can't tell you how many people go check it out. Right. Just reinforces what we're talking about. So yes, I send them a picture of this. Okay. But then I also drop this with the letter in an envelope. Now, some people go, well, that just seems like it's expensive. Well, if you know what a DSNP pays you and the renewals with it, it doesn't cost that much to send another little letter, take a little bit more time. And I'm wanting to reinforce because you got to make yourself stand out to all the other people out there. Because I promise you, as Dallas said, they're trying to flip them all the time.
Yeah. DSNP people are one of the most targeted people on the planet. But yeah, and here's the other thing, guys. I think I said it last week in another meeting. When I walked into a house, the first thing I asked those people is, who was your agent that put you on this plan? And 79% of the time, they have no clue. You think Rob's people know his name? Absolutely, right? At least they know how to describe him.
Yeah, most of them go that little short Mexican guy. Yeah,
I wasn't going to say that. I wasn't going to say that. Not recorded.
Because you would be canceled. That's why, Dallas.
100%.
Yeah.
All right. You mentioned a link for applying. Where would someone go if they need to apply for LIS benefits, Medicare, all that stuff?
Sure. It's the Social Security website. I'll post the direct link that I use because let me go over. I didn't share my screen. That's fine. Let me just do this real quickly. You'll find this about my personality. I want the shortest distance from point A to point B. Okay. So it's easy for me. This is the link that I use right there. It literally takes you 10 to 15 minutes max to apply for them. But let me say this too. If you apply somebody for extra help, and even on there, it says, do you want to send this to the state? I send everybody to the state. Okay. Just to see if they qualify for Medicaid. Okay. It's short, easy, simple application. Our Medicaid site here for Mississippi is like the slowest website on the planet. So that's why I don't waste a lot of time. I just do everything through this quick app here. But I promise you this, the stickability rate will go through the roof if you apply for extra help for people and they get it. They call us going, you're not going to believe this. I got a letter saying I get, this or whatever. And we go that through them. I promise you, they're going to be loyal to you if you go above and beyond, because a lot of those people calling on the phone are not going to do that. All they want to do is flip them to a new plan, get that commission and move on. It's churn and burn for a lot of these call centers. I'm not hating on call centers because I have friends of mine that do that. But most of them are not looking to set themselves apart. They're just looking to get that deal. If you start learning this for extra help, your stickability rate will go through the roof.
Guys,
Can I see that website again?
It's in the chat room there, Diana. Right there in the chat room. You can click on that and it's you can save that. So yeah, right there. So I mean, guys, think about this. If all you do is get them extra help, you're saving them, if it's a married couple, over $3,000 a year. Probably a married couple that's making, well, if they're on extra help, they're making less than $2,000 a month. So you are saving them over 10% of their income. I mean, you're doing them a service right there. It's amazing. So, all right. Any other questions? We're over 9:30. I know you guys got work to do. It's AEP. Any other questions before we get off here? If you'll implement this, guys, I'm telling you.
Yeah. Look, here's a question here real quickly, if I may. Says,
Yeah.
what do you do there? Give out food with other volunteers. So we covered that. They give us the supplies. I don't have any bags that I give out. I do carry cards with me. You can do that. But remember, I'm going to get as many forms filled out as possible. We get probably 80 to 85% of the people that come through their forms filled out. And then I'm very proactive, right? You can't be scared of the phone, right? The phone's you got to become BFFs with the phone on Monday. Okay. So we're very proactive. So we hand out cards, yes, but we're really good at getting about 85% of those forms filled out. And then I take myself, my wife, and then we have an independent agent who's a pastor friend of ours who does it as well. Don't go there by yourself if it's a big food pantry, because you're going to feel overwhelmed and you're going to want to quit because you're going to miss half the cars. You really need 2 people minimum to go to a food pantry.
They ask, can you post the letter that you put on the clipboard? I'll get that from you, Rob, and we will put that in the Slack channel as well and get that.
Sure. Yeah. I'll give you guys whatever you need. I want to help whoever to succeed. So we have an abundance mindset over here in Mississippi, right? So we want to help anybody we can at all. And I pray that it's provided value for all of you guys today.
So let's simplify this. Let me close with this. Here is your homework for this topic. Your homework is find out who your event coordinator is with every carrier that you represent and build a relationship with them. That's job one. You do that, you're going to have them calling you saying, hey, can you do this event? Job one today, find out who your event coordinator is and get with them and build that relationship. So, all right, guys, I appreciate you very much. Rob, again, thank you, buddy. I appreciate you coming on here. We've been needing to do this for a long, long time. We're going to do a lot more with Rob. Rob is a wealth of information, and I appreciate him greatly. So, guys, have a great week. Thank you guys very much. We will get you guys back out in the field. And if we can do anything, please don't hesitate to ask.